Hey, BassGeek here, and I know those deeper bass on those points, humps, and even ledges get really finicky this time of year. Man, do I got a retrieve for you that just gets them fired up. Now, I know I keep telling you geeks that September is jig month. Get your jigs out because there's a lot going on. In my area, they start dropping the water, so that means the crawfish start to come down. That means also that the big crawfish tend to molt during, I think it's the new moon. But trust me, fish at new moon and full moon, it's great. But early September, it can be super tough. They can be finicky, and they can get finicky again late in the year. Man, do I got something that's gonna help you with this. It gets them fired up. And a few years ago, I was actually out fishing a deep point that had a ledge on it, and as I reeled back, a big one hit it. Let me tell you what I learned. So this particular retrieve, there's a lot of different jigs that I like to use with it. Size, weight is going to depend on how deep you are. I like a bulky jig this time of year. This is the Nichols football jig. This is a 3/4 ounce because I'm going to be fishing it a little bit deeper, somewhere between 15 and 35 feet. So a lot of times that's the weight I'm going to go to. Now, if you're up shallow, you can use a 1/4, a 3/8. Just, you want to use the lightest jig you can get away with, especially you guys from the bank. This is a great retrieve for you guys from the bank. But use a light jig when you're doing this. And the way I'm going to rig it is I'm going to rig it with the bulkiest trailer I can get away with. Any sort of bulky beaver style bait is great, and action really depends on how clear the water is. The clearer the water, the calmer, the sunnier, the less action. Even though you're going to put a ton of action into this bait, the less kick action you want, because you want it to fall very quickly. And that's why I err on the heavier side of things, is because you do not want a slow fall. This is a very much a reaction retrieve. Any sort of bulky, to me, a bulky trailer like this. This is the Rage Bug. Now this is going to have a little more kicking action to it. So, you know, like I said, it really depends on the water that you're in. And again, you do not want to slow the fall. This is Green Pumpkin. So if you're using something with a little bit of kick and it's a little more slender, like this is the Spine Crawl from Yum. Love this color. It is Bama Bug, but this has a lot of kick to it. But where it's so cylindrical, it's going to fall really quickly. So I'm going to be using that 3/4 ounce today. So I'm using a heavier weight. Probably going to be fishing just a touch shallower than normal with that. So I'm going to go ahead and put on a bulky trailer. This is the Ditch Lobster from J Bros. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of bend that weed guard down. I'm going to go ahead and hit that dead center. I'm going to come up and come out of the middle. Run it up, push it on, and there you have a nice bulky jig for this retrieve. Now something I'm going to do, and something I've already did, is I like to spread this weed guard out side to side. And the reason why is because if it rolls, that'll keep it up and it doesn't get down to the hook. But what we're going to be doing most of the time, we're not going to be around any sort of wood or anything like that that's going to get snagged. All right, let's tie this puppy on. As far as tying the jig on, we're just going to tie the old pit seam knot. Come through. And then just 5 to 7 times. Come through the top loop. Moisten all the way down, because you're going to slide that knot down. There you go. Cut that tag in, and we're good to go. All right, geeks, let's talk about rod, reel, and line. You know I love my TFOs. This is the TFO Resolve. This is my casting, my worm, casting jigs, and pretty much any sort of open water jigs. This is a 7/6 heavy, and he'll throw a jig with no problem whatsoever. I've got that coupled with a Gravity 8.1 open water. I like it fast. And this is the Arc. Good reel, casts a mile, by the way. But Pro 100, I've got 15-pound test on here. K9 Pro 100, 100% fluorocarbon. Guys, go check them out. 10% discount. Best braid on the market, I'm telling you. They're Fluoro Incredible 2. That's a co-poly. I love it for treble hook baits. All right, let's go. So one of the most perfect spots in the world to fish this is a spot just like this right here. Might show them right here. You've got an island out here, and what you've got is you've got a saddle, so it kind of goes down, gets deep in the middle, and then comes up to this point over here. So there's all kinds of bass out here between this island and this point on this saddle. And that's somewhere we're gonna go try and catch a few. So if you haven't figured it out by now, the retrieve we're talking about is stroking a jig. And this is a retrieve I just absolutely think not enough people use, especially this time of year. So we're right beside the island, right out there is the point. We're gonna kind of work down through here with this. But all you do is make a cast out. And once it hits the bottom, one of the things I'm big on is watching your line, but feeding that line so that it hits bottom, it falls straight down. Once it falls straight down, you want to snap the slack in your rod. Now, something that I like to do if I know that there's some on the bottom is once it falls back down, is I like to kind of give it a couple of small, very short drags, and then snap the slack upwards in my rod again. Now the bass are probably going to hit you anywhere and everywhere in this retrieve. They're liable to hit you on the bottom. They love to hit it on the snap up. So be ready. Don't lift your rod tip too high. 9 to 11 tops. Be ready to set and reel. You've got to get these bass to the boat. Look, it's a jig. Most of them's got a big beefy hook. Set it and put them in the boat. Don't play them. There ain't no need to. You're using a jig rod. Boat hop them. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. You good to go. So that's really all there is to stroking a jig. When it is on, when that bite is on and they're firing on it, you can catch some toads doing this. But make sure you are a line watcher when you're stroking a jig. And by the way, geeks, I know I don't always tell you this, but there are links in the description to all this stuff that we use in these videos.
What's going on, geeks? Let's go ahead and find out who is going to win this box. Ooh, I do got a copy of that. There we go. As always, got to do a little math. Make sure we're not a bot. 129 comments. Let's see who's won. I need to try the toad. I haven't yet, and I've heard great things. Alpha Buzz. All right, I cannot tell. It's too early in the morning while I'm picking this. T. Resgler. I know I'm butchering that. 4048. You won, sir. So I'll send you an email, or I will comment on your comment and let you know. Thank you very much for playing. Thank you very much for watching and supporting the channel. Now you're going to get a chance to try this bait.
If you want to see the video where I caught a bunch stroking a jig, I'll put that right here. Otherwise, questions and comments in the comments section below. You geeks know I love to talk fishing with you. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. Join the 100% Watch Squad. And as always, you geeks rock.